There are 3 teams that are 0-3 right now in the NFL. The Texans, the Raiders, and the Cardinals. And my question to you is, which 0-3 team is in the worst shape? That's when I started this topic, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I know there's 3 teams that are 0-3. Which one of them is in the worst situation right now, and which one of them is in the best? So if you look at the Oakland Raiders, I want to examine the Raiders right now, soon to be the Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have 3 losses. They lost to the Rams 13-33. They lost to the Broncos 19-20, and the Raiders lost to the Dolphins 28-20. And what's interesting about all 3 of the Raiders' losses is that they had the lead at halftime. You can look at that as very encouraging, like, oh, these are competitive games. Or you can look at it as, wow, the Raiders are giving up leads at the end. Either way you look at it, a loss is a loss. But what it seems like to me is that the Raiders are not making good enough halftime adjustments, which is a solvable mistake. That's a fixable mistake. And by the way, I called that. I said that one of the things John Gruden was going to struggle with this year is technology and making adjustments mid-game, because that's where the game has changed the most, is the adjustments you make on the sideline and at halftime. But I think the Raiders, despite being 0-3, they're in a really good situation. They have John Gruden. He's going to figure things out. They have Derek Carr, who throws the ball incredibly. He's a good quarterback. And remember, they had the lead in all 3 of their losses at halftime. The Raiders have played incredibly competitive games. They might be 0-3, but it's the most encouraging 0-3 you can possibly be. So, I don't know. As far as 0-3 goes, the Raiders are in good shape. How about the Texans? The Texans lost to the Patriots 20-27. They lost to the Titans 17-20. And they lost to the Giants 22-27. All one-score games. Now, it's also worth noting, they trailed at halftime in every single one of these games. So the Texans are always coming from behind. They are playing from behind in all these games. But again, they're only losing by 1 possession. That's encouraging as well. Especially when you give context that the offensive line for the Texans is playing awful. They are not playing well at all. Deshaun Watson has been hit 34 times in just 3 games. And because of the bad offensive line, Deshaun Watson is playing like he needs to be Superman. He's taking too many chances. He's overextending himself, trying to make every play work, similar to what Russell Wilson does in Seattle, because he does not have the help around him that he needs. Now, it's worth noting, Deshaun Watson needs to improve pre-snap, right? He needs to make better decisions. He needs to learn how to change the play. He needs to know when to give up on a play, yada, yada. But I'm not worried about Deshaun Watson. I think he's going to progress. I actually have hope for the Texans. The Texans might be 0-3, but they've lost every game by 1 possession, and they've got a good quarterback, a young quarterback who's learning, who's going to progress. But what you got to do if you are a Texans fan, you must help your young quarterback with an offensive line. He's got injuries in the past. That's the number 1 concern for the Texans, is their offensive line. How about the Arizona Cardinals? The Cardinals are 0-3. They lost to the Redskins 24-6. They never had a lead in the game. It was a blowout. The Cardinals lost to the Rams 34-0. Never once had a lead, obviously, because they never even scored. But then what happened in week 3 is the Cardinals played the Bears and got out to a 14-0 lead. Now, they did fall apart. Sam Bradford threw 2 interceptions. Eventually, the Cardinals put in Josh Rosen. He threw an interception as well. But 16-14 losing to the Bears, at one point having the lead, that's not that discouraging of a loss either. And here's why I'm not too worried about the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a rookie quarterback. They're going to develop. So, which of these 3 teams is doing the best? Between the Raiders, the Cardinals, and the Texans, which one is in the best situation? The Raiders are in the best shape. As far as an 0-3 team goes, solid coach, solid quarterback. They've had leads in the past. They've just been losing in the second half. They need to make better adjustments. But the Raiders, I would be encouraged if I was the Raiders. Now, the Cardinals are the second team that I think the Texans are the worst. Of all these 3 0-3 teams, the Texans are in the worst case situation. But I want to start with the Cardinals. I'm not too worried about the Cardinals. I'm not expecting them to win a lot this year anyways. They have a rookie quarterback. They just need to develop their kid. There's no pressure on the Cardinals to win games. Nobody has high expectations of the Arizona Cardinals this year. Again, they're starting a rookie quarterback. And really, the truth is, the worse that the Cardinals do, the better draft pick they get next year. So I like the move that they made by starting Josh Rosen, let him get reps. He's going to get beat up. He's going to have all kinds of interceptions. It's going to be ugly. And not beat up physically. I mean, he's going to take his lumps. He's going to get sacked. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to throw bad passes. But let's learn from those mistakes now. And guess what? While he's playing badly, every time you lose, you're getting closer and closer to a better draft pick next year. Now, the Texans are the worst off 0-3 team. They're in the worst situation. They have a bad offensive line, and the Texans have a quarterback who's coming off of an injury. My fear is I don't want Deshaun Watson to become the next Andrew Luck. To have a bad offensive line, to never be healthy because you're always injured and running for your life. Again, Deshaun Watson has been hit 34 times in just 3 games. That's terrible. That's horrible. That is why the Texans are the worst off. They're putting their quarterback in danger by not giving him an offensive line. I don't know. I would be encouraged for the Texans because they've lost every game by 1 possession, but that offensive line is scary. And if I'm a Texans fan, I'm concerned you're going to ruin our franchise quarterback before he ever really gets a chance to start his career. Got hurt last year. Could he get hurt again this year because he's running for his life? I don't know. But I really am concerned about the Texans' offensive line. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my show, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my pride and joy. I'm very proud of it. If you're new to Strong Opinion Sports, you can subscribe to it on iTunes, SoundCloud, on YouTube. You can find the full entire hour-long podcast on YouTube, or you can find more shorter breakout videos like the one you just watched. And if you like what I had to say, maybe you hate what I had to say, share this with your friends. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about the show. My name is Zach Schaumler. Have a great day.